journey to creating Doom's unique soundtrack wasn't a straight road. It began with the challenge of making low-frequency sounds like sub-bass audible on lower-end sound systems like a TV speakers. This was accomplished by adding high-frequency content like white noise to the low-frequency sounds, creating a modulation effect, a technique then distorted to generate exciting harmonics. The soundtrack's author, initially rejected but later encouraged by his collaborator Chris, embarked on an experimental sound journey. Welcome to Game Dive, where we unpack games on a weekly basis. If you like this video and want to see more content like it, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Drawing inspiration from Tony Visconti's reverb technique and David Bowie's Heroes, he created a dynamic system that produced compelling audio based on the input. The process involved a chain of distortion and modulation effect pedals, each creating a unique sonic texture. Vintage equipment like a 60s and 70s phaser pedal, a Watkins copycat old tape echo, an Akai reel-to-reel machine, and a spring reverb tank were used, giving the soundtrack a distinctive, nostalgic vibe. Yet, even with all this, the cornerstone of this elaborate setup was a compressor set with a 30 millisecond attack to accentuate the unique noise generated by the equipment array. The sound designers also experimented with different audio inputs into the setup, primarily using pure sine waves and by altering amplitude and pitch, creating layers of distortion and harmonics, adding to the complexity of the sounds. This array, fittingly referred to as their Doom instrument, produced a unique, fitting soundtrack for the game, which was well received by the team. A highlight of this process was the innovative introduction of guitar sounds. The creators initially rejected guitars due to the stereotype of electric guitars in gaming. However, the aggressive sounds the guitar produced filled a void in the soundtrack. The design team then started experimenting with different guitar tones, recording them an octave higher and twice as fast, and then slowing them down for a chunky, unique sound. One of the experimental techniques used included integrating the in-game chainsaw sound into the guitar tone using a plugin called MORPH. This allowed them to introduce the guitar into the soundtrack without sounding cliche or stereotypical. To create a sense of intrigue, the author also employed a synth called HARMOR that could generate sounds based on an image. And in true Doom fashion, it was hinted that satanic symbols could have been used for this purpose. Even more, images were hidden in WAV files that could be discovered using a spectrograph, furthering the game's theme of hidden evil and secrets. The process of creating Doom's soundtrack was a testament to breaking rules and norms. The team was willing to ignore initial briefs and guidelines as well, all in hopes to create a beautiful soundtrack. And it was this willingness to experiment and to even fail that led to the soundtrack's unique sound. There's also hidden messages in mono playback or reverse sound play. In terms of integrating audio into the game, the team carefully used cues like glory kills to trigger specific sound changes. The use of looping sounds called endless rises created a constant sense of tension, a technique achieved by using the Shepherd tone. Upon the game's soundtrack release, the designers urged to treat it as a separate project, ensuring that it could be enjoyed independently of the game. This led to the use of voiceover files from the game to separate different segments of the soundtrack, a concept inspired by albums from the 70s and 80s. The soundtrack of Doom is a homage to creativity, experimentation, and most importantly, the courage to redefine a conventional norm. And as for the 5 hidden Easter eggs in the game, well, that's a story for another day. If you made it this far, thank you. Welcome to the Endgame Club. I really love having you here, so make sure to check out this next video.